Ta-da! Look what I got. I got books. Comfy cozy time. Comfy cozy tea time. This is a problem, but it's not a problem I'm willing to tackle. I've got all of these within the past month or so. There's kind of two reasons for it. One, I had a discount at a local store and I couldn't resist using it. And two, it was my birthday. So I got quite a lot of these for my birthday. I thought I'd talk you through them. I think we should just dive in. I'm going to start over here. First book I've got is Mexican Gothic. I don't know much about the storyline. Gothic books can be a little bit hit or miss for me. I've read from Silvia Moreno Garcia before, and I really enjoyed that book, so I know I get on with her writing style. So I'm really excited about this. The taglines are all great. Darkly brilliant, wonderfully creepy. I'm excited to just try out some like different brands of horror. Maybe something a little more classic feeling is my vibe from this. So I'm excited for this. Next up I got Wild Love by Elsie Silver. The Flawless, Heartless, Powerless series. I really enjoyed it. Read them all. Got them all. They're here on my shelf. And so obviously I had to get the next one. This is part of the Rose Hill series. It's a billionaire romance. It's quite a chunk for a romance, which I may be alone in, but I am excited about. I know that the next one is coming out really soon. I kind of wanted to wait until the whole series was out before reading them, but I caved. I caved and I got it. What can I say? Next up I got The Lion Game by Ruth Ware. I got it because it was cheap and because I sometimes like Ruth Ware. I've had a kind of mixed relationship with Ruth Ware, and what seems to be the case with me is all the books everyone really loves, I really hate, and all the books no one likes, I really love. And I haven't heard anything about this. I don't think people rate it super highly, but maybe that means I'll love it. Who knows? I think it's just in my nature to be difficult, so let's hope I like this. I'm going to talk about two books in one. This is part of the I want to read more horror. I don't know anything about either of these, but I really wanted to try some of T. Kingfisher's horror. I have really liked their like cozy fantasy type stories in the past, and so I really wanted to give their horror a go. So I have A House with Good Bones and The Hollow Places. I don't know if these are the best from them, maybe they're terrible, who knows, but these were the two that the shop I went to had in stock, so I got them both and I have no regrets. I have zero regrets. The next two are very different from each other, but I was lured to buy them both in the same way, and that is by their cover. I wanted to read some more translated fiction. I saw this, I thought it looked really interesting. I don't know if you can tell, but the like blood smears are like metallic, and I thought that's really pretty. It's just giving the name, right? Like it looks like butter, and I really liked that. And it was in a new titles thing, and I saw it and I was like, gotta have it. So from what I can tell, it's about a woman who's a serial killer, and the way she killed her victims was that she seduced them with food. She's been arrested, she's in prison, and she's refusing to talk to media. Everyone wants to talk to her, she won't talk to anyone. Until this one journalist writes to her, and instead of asking her questions about the murders, she asks her about her cooking, and they develop a friendship of sorts. I don't know what happens after that. I think it's quite twisted. I mean, obviously it's twisted, it's about a serial killer, but I think it's like someone discovering the darkness within them. That's the kind of vibe I get from it, and so I'm really excited to try something just like a little bit different from what I've read before. The next book I got is a manga, and I also got this for the front cover. I think this is just the cutest image. It's so sweet. I love it. Hirayasumi. So I think it's Hirayasumi, and from the back it's about someone who in their late 20s doesn't have what a lot of people would consider a lot going on, but he's really happy with his life. And I didn't want to read beyond that because I just wanted to experience it. It's so cute, just flicking through it. I love the art style. It looks like it's going to be a really sweet, short read. Horror Train coming through. I want to try Grady Hendrix, and I heard that this is his best, or this is his most loved. So it's the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I love the whole aesthetic of it. I don't know how much of it is actually about vampires. I don't know if it's a weird kind of commentary on society rather than being actual vampires. I don't really know anything about it. I really want to try Grady Hendrix's writing style and see if it's something that suits me, because I've heard such good things about it, and I felt like this would be a good place to start. I got Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I read almost all of Riley Sager's books, and a little bit like Ruth Ware, the ones everyone loves, I didn't love, and the ones everyone hates, I had a really good time with. I'm interested because I believe this is the first time Riley Sager has written from a male point of view as the main character, so I'm interested to see how that goes and whether he's more suited to writing male main characters, or if the male main character has a bit more character depth than his typical female main characters, because he's not always received well for his female main characters. So I'm excited to see if this is any different. As I said, me and Ruth Ware, we're trying things out. I got this because it has the most beautiful sprayed edges. Look at that, look at those sprayed edges. It's the continuation of the thing and I love it. It's also signed, which is nice to have. I've heard that this is basically a survival book, that you shouldn't expect too much going into it, and so my expectation is quite low, but I haven't read many survival books and it feels like the kind of thing that I'd be interested in. So I'm gonna give this one a go. Me and Ruth Ware can get on, so maybe you'll like this one. I feel like everyone has read this book, When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Everyone's read it apart from me. Everyone loves it, so I want to read it. That's the entire justification. There is no more to it. I don't know anything about the story. I know it's a fantasy romance. It looks like there are dragons. It's huge. It's a tome of a book. And the sequel is coming out sometime soon, according to Waterstones. So I should get on and read this. TJ Klune, Somewhere Beyond the Sea. This is the sequel to House in the Cerulean Sea. I really liked House in the Cerulean Sea. My favourite of his is Under the Whispering Door, but I did really like House in the Cerulean Sea. I really liked the characters, and I think my complaint with House in the Cerulean Sea is that we didn't get to know the characters enough. Like, there was really good character growth, but I felt like it was quite a surface level exploration of them, and so I'm really excited to see if in this one we get to know them more deeply. That is what I would really like to happen, because I liked the characters and I want to know them better. I got Ministry of Time by, I think, Calliane Bradley. Don't murder me if I get the pronunciation wrong. I have just heard such good things about this, and I love that the spine is holographic end papers with this really like subtle but beautiful drawing, and I've just heard nothing but great things about it. So I guess in this world, time travel is a thing, and there's this company or organization, it might be the government, who knows, who goes into history with time travel and plucks people out at the moment of their death and brings them to present day. And then they get paired up with an employee, and the employee teaches them how to survive in the modern day. And there is romance in here. I don't know if it's solely romance, but there is a romance in here between female employee and the Arctic explorer that is brought from the past. And that sounds intriguing, does it not? Am I wrong? I think that sounds great. I got The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. This is the sequel to The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This is pure cozy, right? The first book, pure coziness, and it really encompasses all things autumn. This is such a seasonal read. I'm so excited to get to this when it gets a little bit more autumny. I think this would be great for a chilly day, just to curl up and have a nice time with a cozy book. That's all I want from this. I want it to be cozy, and I'm sure it will be. I got Haiku! I really like the Haiku anime. It's like a comfort watch for me. I had a discount at the store and it had volumes 1 to 3 in one book, and I was like, sign me up. I don't read much manga, but I'm really excited to see how closely this resembles the anime, because it's just such a comfort thing for me. So I think this will be a really nice kind of light, easy read, even though it's fat, because it's 3 volumes. I think this will be a really nice comfort read for me. Right, I swear I'm not obsessed, but I also got 0 Days by Ruth Ware. So from what I understand, this is about a couple who gets employed to attack security systems to test them, to see their weak points. And during one of their jobs, the husband is found dead. I think. I haven't heard anyone talk about this. I don't know if it's well liked. I don't know if people hated it. My assumption is it's that it just kind of flew under the radar and no one wants to talk about it because they didn't like it that much, but they also didn't hate it. But Ruth Ware is just like easy reading for me, so I feel compelled to pick up her books and to give her a go every time. Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is the third book in the Icebreaker series, I guess. I think from the first book, Henry has been my favourite character, and this book is about him, so that's a win. I really enjoyed the first two. I think I gave them both like 4.5, 5 stars. I don't think they're necessarily like a prime example of writing, and there are some cringy scenes in them, but I think overall I had a really good time with them, and so I'm excited about this. I think this will be fun. I think I'll enjoy it. I don't think it will be perfect, but I think it will be a fun time. Another birthday present. This is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I've heard nothing but good things about this. From what I understand, it's about Piranesi and he lives in this house, but the house is kind of infinite. It's got maze-like features, it's magical and expansive, and that's all I know about it. Everyone I've seen who's read this has really enjoyed it, and it ended up on a lot of people's favourites, I think, back when it came out. So I'm excited to get to this, and it's quite a short book. So I feel like when short books can pack a punch, that's a really interesting story because they don't have as much time to express themselves. So you end up with this really intense story that people really love, and I think that would be great. I got myself The Princess of Potential by Dellum Hatch, which is a standalone sequel to The House Witch. It's about the princess who was born in the House Witch having to find a husband, and it is a fantasy romance. It says on here that it's a novella. I thought novellas were short. This is 400 pages. So can someone clear up for me what novella means? Because am I just misinformed? Or does this make no sense? I'm really excited to be back in the world of The House Witch. Loved that whole series. And so I feel a lot of safety reading another book from that author. Like, I feel like I know what I'm going to get with this. And there will be a moment where it is the perfect book to read. So I'm really excited that I own this and that I get to read it. I got Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. If you've watched my vlog of Ninth House, you'll know that I didn't love Ninth House. And people say they didn't love Hellbent as much as they love Ninth House. But I was so intrigued by Darlington, and I think he will feature in this book to some extent, so I want to read more about him. That's my whole reasoning. That's the whole reason I want to read this book, is because I want to know more about Darlington. I don't know if I'm going to love it or hate it. Maybe I'll go against the grain and love it where everyone else didn't, but I want to give it a go. At some point, I want to give it a go and see if I can love it more than I love Ninth House. I got The Bedlam Stacks by Natasha Pulley. I have read The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley, and I really liked it, and I've read a short story from her based on that book, and I also really enjoyed that. From what I understand, it's historical fantasy action adventure, which doesn't sound like a possible mix of genres, but apparently it is. Got this one from a charity shop, so it was really cheap, so I just thought, you know, fuck it, like, let's give it a go. Let's see if I'm gonna like another book from her or not. The Watchmaker of Filigree Street wasn't like my favourite book of all time, but I did enjoy it, and so I want to give Natasha Pulley another go to see if I can like another book from her that has a different storyline and a different set of characters, just to see if that was kind of like a one-hit wonder or whether there's more out there from her that I can enjoy. I got Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is basically just to complete my Ali Hazelwood collection. I'm not convinced I'm going to like this. I'm interested by the chess aspect, but I am put off by the YA aspect. People had mixed opinions on this book, and I just want to give it a go. I want to read everything Ali Hazelwood has ever written. That is my only goal in life. Whether I like it or not is a different matter, but I want to have at least tried all her books. This is one of the few kind of literary fiction books that I got. It's Tom Lake by Anne Patchett. I've been recommended this multiple times. I've heard a lot of people talk really highly about it. I've tried not to give myself any spoilers by reading the back. The bit I have read is Tom Lake is a mediation on youthful love, married love, and the lives parents lead before their children are born. And that sounds interesting. I think exploring different aspects of love is something that could be really interesting, because so I read a lot of romance, right? But in romance, it's almost always the beginning of a love story. And so I'm really excited to see how love develops within this book and how it's explained throughout a lifetime rather than just at the moment of initiation. Like how it grows, how it develops, how it changes, and how that feels. I think that would be a really interesting story to read, so I hope this book does it. We're down to the final few. I don't want to say I was tricked into buying this, but it was out on a table. I love the cover. I want to read more translated fiction. I can't even tell you what the name is because of the stupid sticker. Let's get rid of that. So it's the Dahlgert Dream Department Store by Mai Lee, and it's just so many colours. It has so many colours on it. Shall we read the synopsis? There's a department store that sells dreams, and it's the first book in a duology. Both those things are good to know. It just looks so weird. It just looks, I'm gonna give you a close-up. Can you see all the little crazy things that are happening on the cover? I think it looks so interesting and weird. I don't think there's a single thing about this cover that I don't like. It's just wild. So I'm excited to give this a go and just to see if their content lives up to the cover. I may be in my horror era, but I want to be in my sci-fi era. I picked up Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I've heard good things about this. I don't really understand the synopsis, and I hope that isn't a reflection of how well I understand the book. But Jason wakes up and he's in a new life and everything has changed, and he's trying to figure out what is real and what isn't, and whether his old life was real or whether his new life is real. And that's all I know. That's all the synopsis tells me. But I think Blake Crouch has interesting ideas, and when I've looked for sci-fi recommendations, this has come up quite a lot. So I'm gonna give it a go. Final book, Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayhew. If someone could tell me how to pronounce this, that'd be great. I loved Assistant to the Villain. It's just such a fun time. It's just great. So I have high hopes for this. I want it to be just as good, or at least just as fun. I want it to be a good time. The first book was so silly and so wacky that I just want this to be the same. I want to read this and laugh out loud. That's my only aim with this book. If it can make me laugh, I'll be happy. I just want to have a good time. I think it will. I think this will be fun. I have high expectations, so I hope I'm not let down by this book. That's it. This is my stupidly large haul for 1 month. Do not expect this again. This is not something that will be happening every month. This is an exception. I got most of these for my birthday, so do not expect this again. I cannot afford this again. This is a one-time thing, and I have nowhere to put them. You saw my TBR reset. I have nowhere to put them. Let me know which one you think I'm gonna like best. I know you don't know me that well, but if you see one of your favourites here, tell me about it. I want you to hype up your favourites, so I know which ones to read first. Anyway, I feel like this is a good selection. This should be a good fun time. If you want to stick around for some more videos, please subscribe so you can know when I post them. If you want me to read any of these specifically in a video, let me know and I'll try and fit it in. Other than that, I hope you have a really good rest of your day and wish me luck fitting these on my shelves. Thank you and goodbye.